I'm joined by Senior Associate at Al-Tamimi and Company and Saudi Arabia Specialist, Ahmed Amonette. Thank you so much for joining me. Just to say that you are in Riyadh. I just want to start off by explaining and you telling us the importance of today and its significance in the Islamic tradition.
First, I want to say thank you, Leigh-Ann, for having me on today. In terms of the significance of the Hajj and today's importance, so the Hajj is the largest annual religious gathering globally. It's one of the 5 pillars of Islam, and it's obligatory for all Muslims who have the means and ability to carry it out. It's a deeply spiritual opportunity and a once-in-a-lifetime journey for most of the pilgrims. In terms of its significance, the Hajj is really a time for Muslim pilgrims to seek forgiveness from God, reflect spiritually, and it's a time of spiritual renewal. In terms of the rituals themselves, they reenact Prophet Ibrahim, peace be upon him's trials, and they symbolize sacrifice and devotion to God. So in essence, really, the Hajj is a powerful expression of equality as well. Millions of Muslims from diverse backgrounds are going to be gathering for Hajj in all simple white garments, standing together before God. So that's really what the significance. That's really the significance of the Hajj.
And what are some of the biggest logistical and organizational challenges are there during Hajj, and how are they actually managed? Because as we said there, so many people are expected to go, over 1 million pilgrims.
Yes, that's a good question. So in terms of the logistics and organizational challenges, the Hajj is really an act of managing a entire temporary city of, as you said, over 1 million people in a matter of days under intense conditions. So there are a myriad of challenges in terms of transportation, crowd control, sanitation, medical services. Saudi Arabia has a dedicated Ministry of Hajj that oversees and plans for the Hajj pilgrimage year-round, so coordinating with the different international delegations, as well as with the other Saudi authorities. Over 100,000 personnel are deployed for the Hajj, including personnel from health, security, and the civil defense sectors. In terms of the preparations that take place well in advance of the Hajj, those include simulation drills, zoning. There are also strict movement schedules in place for crowd management. So those are some of the logistical challenges and the ways those are being managed by the authorities here, led by the Ministry of Hajj.
So we've heard about the intense heat during this year's Hajj. What are Saudi authorities doing to help pilgrims stay safe and actually just keep cool at this time?
Yes, that's a good question. So Hajj is in June this year, so it's peak summer and there's intense heat. In terms of the measures that have been taken, thousands of misting fans have been put in place in the holy places such as Mina and Arafah. More trees have been planted. Shaded walkways have been expanded. Also, cold water is distributed to the pilgrims throughout the holy sites. Also, the Ministry of Hajj has advised pilgrims to stay in their tents tomorrow during the pinnacle day of Hajj, which is the day of Arafah. So the Ministry of Hajj has advised the pilgrims to stay in their tents, which are air-conditioned, between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m., just to mitigate the risks in terms of heat stroke and dehydration. But, in the event that people do become ill, there are medical teams dispersed throughout the holy sites and on standby. Also, in terms of technology being used to provide for the safety of the pilgrims. Apps are being utilized to provide real-time alerts to the pilgrims, as well as health advice in multiple different languages.
And what does Hajj mean to Saudi Arabia beyond its religious role? How does this impact the country socially, politically, and economically?
Yes, so in terms of Hajj and its broader impact on Saudi Arabia. So since the founding of the kingdom, Hajj has been central to the Saudi identity. It's been a symbol of unity with the Muslim world. And Saudi Arabia as a country takes great pride in serving the pilgrims and takes great pride in its leadership role in the Muslim world. So in terms of socially, of course, the Hajj fosters unity between Muslims. It connects Muslims worldwide from 180 different countries with the Saudi people who Saudi Arabia hosts during the Hajj. Also, it's a time of service. So during the Hajj season, thousands of Saudis dedicate themselves to serving the pilgrims, be they civil servants or private sector workers in transportation and hospitality, as well as thousands of volunteers who volunteer their time to serve the pilgrims by providing assistance, guidance, as well as translation services. In terms of politically, the Hajj reinforces the kingdom's leadership role in the Muslim world. Economically speaking, of course, it's a huge driver of the economy in terms of jobs, particularly in the hospitality sector. But that's far outweighed by the large investments in infrastructure. So the kingdom has dedicated billions in terms of investing in the infrastructure dedicated to the holy sites and the Hajj, in terms of the Grand Mosque expansion, as well as the Haramain high-speed railway, by way of example. It's really Hajj is an example of the kingdom's commitment, to serving Islam's holy sites and ensuring safe, accessible, spiritually fulfilling pilgrimage for all the visitors.
Ahmed Amonette, it was great to have you on. Thank you so much for bringing us all of that information. We appreciate you. Have a good evening.
You're welcome. You too.